Welcome to our Rural Civic Center meeting. It's been a while, but I appreciate everybody coming. We're expecting some exciting news and some very good conversation over this. And as always, to start a meeting, we will open up with the invocation and our Pledge of Allegiance. If you could all please stand. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we're so thankful to have this opportunity once again together here. Uplift us and encourage our hearts and help us so that we would continuously hunger and thirst after your righteousness. Touch each and every home and family represented here today. Meet the needs thereof. Use us, help us so that we might be able to help others. Let all things be done to praise and honor your name, for we ask it upon our Savior's name, Christ Jesus. Amen. Attention to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Be seated. As we said, this has been a long time coming and a work in progress. We're hoping to be able to see a lot of big steps here today, and we appreciate everybody being here, the committee, the staff, Charlie and his crew, and so we appreciate all that. And do we have any public input? I didn't think so. Approval of the agenda contents and stuff. We need a motion from somebody. Second, all in favor? And approval of the minutes from the last meeting that we had. Motion? And second? All in favor? Aye. Moving on to the discussion items. Approval of a meeting. You're going to have another, excuse me, so had a heavy lunch. Work with me now. Discussion items, introduction, Mr. Brandon Wagner. So he's been on this thing and we appreciate it, Brandon.
Good afternoon, Chairman, committee members. It's an exciting day for the Rural Civic Center. We've crossed an important milestone with completion of the schematic design phase. That's often referred to as the 15% complete in the design phase plans. Don't have them in front of you, but there's a whole stack of 100-page set of engineering drawings. It's important because once you get to this phase, you can really start ironing down and narrowing in on your cost estimate and some other important information. With that, we have the consulting team here to go over the schematic design. We have Charlie Johnson with Johnson Consulting, overall program implementation and planning for the project. And then also we have Margaret Butler with MHM, and she is the architect. And with that, I will turn the presentation over to them.
Thank you, Brandon. Hi, again, my name's Charlie Johnson, with President of Johnson Consulting. Honored to be here today. As Brandon indicated, this is a pretty big step because it's starting to, cost numbers are starting to come in, and all those types of things are starting to really look like a building and an event. And I want to remind everybody that we're starting today to build an institution that's going to, some of them are 200 years old. And so as we set the stage for this facility that Margaret's going to go through, you'll see the vision, but you also have to you have to start somewhere. And this is where we start. We've equipped ourselves today with some technical support. So if questions come up, we've got engineering. Would you like to step up real quick, John?
Hey, I'm John Richards with Thomas & Hutton Engineering.
And we have our design team. Would you guys like to say hi real quick?
Hi, I'm Amy Mitchell from W Landscape Architecture.
I'm Ian Dillon from W Architecture Landscape.
And I saw Mike come in from our cost estimating team.
All right, Mike Wurzelbacher with Cumming Group for cost management.
All right, and then Margaret, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Charlie. And I just want to echo our team is extremely excited to be here with you today. We've been working very hard, and over the last month or so, working really hard with Cumming to get the project ready to present to you today. We're excited to be at this milestone. And so we'll just kind of walk you through what has transpired over the last several months. I thought I'd start today, though, by starting with the master plan. Last time we came to see you, we were in the master plan phase. We did a lot of great stakeholder community engagement with and with you all as well. Just to take a quick look at the master plan and its full build out, and I think I can point down here. As you'll recall, Hardwick Road and Party Pines running on the southern tip of the property. And the master plan envisioned that an entrance would be placed down off Hardwick, coming in with this kind of grand lawn fairgrounds that as you approach the Rural Civic Center arena building, that you'd have that long vista for events and festivals, fair, that type of thing. And it's envisioned really that the property would be fully built out with multiple stall barns, ag facilities and support facilities with a warm-up that attaches to the arena. And then someday Expo Hall is planned on the east side of the complex. It's also envisioned, as you know, to be shared with the National Guard Readiness Center that was strategically placed over in the east quadrant of the property. We had planned for RV parking, horse trailer, animal trailer parking over on the west side of the property. Also envisioned sharing the property for emergency events with Horry County Electric having this area that would be, that they could marshal their volunteers and their equipment in that. Potentially even could be developed with some kind of commercial development on the Party Pines Road edge. And then also always thought that we would be doing walking trails throughout the property. It's a gorgeous piece of flat property with a lot of tree growth, and it could be just a lovely equestrian or, you know, kind of hiking opportunity for the community. When we started, we decided, well, we can't maybe bite it all off at once. What is going to be the first stage? And so what was prioritized, obviously the front entrance, the grand lawn, fairground element, the Rural Civic Center building itself, which features the large arena, and one stall barn connected with a warm-up area that would be that first phase. And so that's what we have moved forward through the last several months developing. And just to recall, this was our plan at the time. I remember we looked at several options, and we were really excited. I think you all had a vision of doing the best option that we presented to you, in that it would give you the most flexibility for use. And one element that was always a big part of it, we felt like you wanted this bowl, the seating in the round, to really get that arena experience inside. I hope we've been able to deliver that for you, but that was the path that we chose. We looked at some more simple options, but this was the path that we moved forward with. This is where we were when we started. Mentioned the stall barn. We designed these barns for 200 stalls. They really, we'll get into the design as it's developed here in a moment, but they can really be used for a multitude of elements, but at a minimum for equestrian events, that you could have 200 animals in there, and they're attached with this covered warm-up when they're moving into shows. They're able to move from the stall barn on into the arena floor, and this is an area, staging area for that. So we still kept that. Now I'm going to introduce, you just met Amy Mitchell and Ian Dillon. They are landscape architects. They've done a beautiful job designing. You know, on a project like this, the site is just not the area outside the building. The site is also a beautiful room to hold functions, and I think they've done a lovely job with that, so I'm going to allow them to walk through that.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Margaret. So as we got into this site, one of the things that just sort of stood out to us that was opportunity here, and we felt like the concept to go for in the landscape in this place is just very straightforward. We wanted to be homegrown, natural, beautiful, and at the same time durable. As you see here, we will have a plaza right outside of the Civic Center building. And at the same time as we need this plaza to be expansive because we have lots of people that are going to be coming, we also wanted to soften it, bring in drifts and easy arrangements of native planting, shade to help make it comfortable and beautiful. We also have some required and necessary vehicular ways, emergency vehicles, as well as some circulation. And in order to sort of make that plaza continue and feel like it's all part of the experience, we're proposing a tabled plaza and using paving patterns and site furnishings and just arranged appropriately so that all that can be done safely and it still feels like it's all part of one space. We also want to, while we know that much of the time people are going to be moving about and there's lots of activity and things going on, we also wanted to make it possible that there's quiet places and smaller places for people to gather or maybe have a cup of coffee or a sandwich or talk to your children or something of those lines. And then ultimately, we wanted to establish a real sense of just a sense of the space, highlighting right away as you come in along that midway. We're proposing an alley of native trees that really start to lead you up the path to that new Civic Center building. So as you look at this site plan, overall, establishing right at the beginning, we see clear circulation. It's legible for both vehicular users and pedestrians. Right off the bat, you can see native planting at the entryway. And really the goal is with all of these things that are functional, whether it's stormwater catchment or roadways or parking areas, that we use native planting to really create this site that says, you don't see it anywhere else. It's right here. It's Horry County. It's homegrown. It's natural. And then Ian's going to tell you a little bit more about the details of how all this works.
Thank you, Ian. So at the master plan level, I think what you guys had seen was really space allocation, kind of highlighting big programmatic elements, how those are arranged together. And so what we're going to go through in a little bit more detail today is kind of how the site functions, how it functions from a vehicular standpoint, how it functions from a pedestrian standpoint, and then what kind of experiences kind of accompany those functionalities. And so if you look, actually let me go back one more. Ooh, too far. A couple of big things at this larger scale. What we're showing here is still that entrance off of Hardwick. And we've already started to think about the kind of stormwater placement and how those can be features of the site. And so that stormwater pond right at the corner of the site is really meant to open up the site, allow you a view all the way across that midway lawn to the rural civic center across, so that there's an identity from the road and not just kind of a secluded private site. Additionally, we've carried forward with the midway lawn and really added those alleys of trees that Amy was talking about to give it a frame, provide some shade, and so that this can still be used all year round and provide a place of respite on those hot summer days. And then the other thing we should mention is both trailers and cars will enter off of Hardwick, and then they'll split. Cars will go to the right to that parking, both on the paved parking and the dirt parking, and then the trailers will split to the left, go go up around, and then we've allocated trailer parking in the existing bean field on a gravel lot, and then there's additional overflow parking in the field parking for those large events that we'll see. And then looking a little bit closer, this site really has a lot of potential, and so one of the things that we wanted to do was preserve as much of the existing canopy and wetlands that are on the site. We've managed to preserve all of the wetlands, and so in being really careful about where we're removing trees, it creates a kind of existing rural character that we want to preserve and carry forward. And so you can see here in the midway, bringing that natural language of alleys in. The alleys are really meant to, let me see if I can point this out for you guys. Run along the sides here. And so the pedestrian circulation will really be, you park your car, you get out, you move across the boulevards into Midway and go up along to the Civic Center there. And then, let's see, I'll also point out, we've also added another crossway across so that you can come in with your car, and then there's a drop-off zone here, and then you can either circle back out, or if you need to cut across for the parking, you can arrive there. So we'll show you what that Midway character is meant to be. So this Midway is really meant to be the big, flexible, exciting space for the site. It can serve both as a host for events, like here we're showing it as a music festival. It can serve for parking. It can serve a whole number of events that you can dream up. And so what we've done is created a kind of inner loop that you'll see here that serves both as vehicular circulation for parking, as well as a kind of center aisle for any kind of events that are occurring. We're also envisioning this, and we've planned enough room for this to hold county fair that'll operate, both day and night. And we're thinking about that both as an interior use for the arena as well as an exterior use. And so as we'll look at the plaza design here in just a moment, the intention is for those spaces to really blend together and become one unified programmable site that can be used for all kinds of different activities. And then looking a little bit closer at the area surrounding the building, you'll see the Rural Civic Center there and the stall barn out to the left. Right there where it says trailer just above the stall barn, that's where we're imagining the trailer drop-off for horse trailers. They'll be able to enter into the barn and then circle back out to that trailer parking. Just below the stall barn is a place where we have for the temporary stall barn in case there's a need for additional stall barns for any particular event. And then we have both the fire lane and the center aisle of the stall barn kind of doing double duty there, which allows us to provide fire access all the way around. And then we're also showing a show ring, which would be used as a warm-up space and additional outdoor programming for equestrian events. And then looking at the plaza, one of the things that we wanted to do with the plaza was make sure that that really reads as one unified space across from the Midway up to the building. And so you'll see here, this is what what Amy was saying is that shared tabled plaza, but this will serve both as a drop-off lane and an extension of that plaza across into the Midway. We're also showing the fire lane that runs up this way and will serve as a potential loop for cars to come through and drop off if there's any need for specific drop-off at that entry point. And then some of the other programming we're showing right now is an outdoor performance deck that could be used both in conjunction with the fair. It can be used for kind of individual events as part of a larger event, and just provides more flexibility within the plaza space. And then up along the fire lane here, we're using that to help structure some outdoor space at this edge that is an extension of the indoor events and conference spaces so that those events can spill out into the outside. You can have a kind of more private one-on-one conversation with someone at the conference, any of those kind of smaller spaces. So what's this look like? This is where we're showing this as a potential for a market, outdoor event, craft fair, any kind of thing that would occur both potentially outside and inside and be able to kind of use that space in a flexible way. In this instance, we're showing this drop-off lane closed off so that this becomes one extension of the plaza across, and then those programs can spill out into the Midway. You'll see here where we're showing this as a concert or an evening event where you still have that drop-off lane. You can drop off here and head directly into the building. And then the other thing to note, I think, in this view is that we're showing this as the parking for the occurring along the Midway. And so that space can become additional parking depending on the event, and there'll be some kind of operational balancing there. Again, this can host, this is scaled to host huge events, both from the concert level to the fair. Really just imagining this as a place that is as flexible as possible, accommodate large events, small events, any kind of events. I'll turn it back over to Margaret.
Okay, we'll go into the facility design a little bit now. As Ian pointed out, we do have the circulation for the trailers that would be coming in. They come around this location. They've come up the grand lawn, if you will, around, and they have a drop-off area here. We have a registration office just inside the the Civic Center building that can access that. In our earlier master plan designs, we had a storage building under the shed of the barn, and Charlie really challenged us and said, hey, you know, if we've got small, and I'll show a larger plan of this here in a minute, but we've got smaller restroom facilities and wash stalls in here, but if we can open up the middle of this building, you can use that for a variety of events too. It's a large covered canopy, if you will, when the stalling's moved out, and so it can host smaller shows, smaller equestrian shows, small animal events, that type of thing. So we tried to make this building as user-friendly as possible. We also have back here, you see item number 4, that's the location. We're still in this option 1 phase, this first phase, but we do leave footprints for additional storage someday, but we do have a large storage facility in phase 1 that will house the footing mix for any equestrian events, as well as any general storage that you need for the site. The 6th element up there is you'll have large dumpster compactor elements, and then we're using a chiller, and we have a chiller yard up there too for the whole site. So that's kind of this area in the back here is kind of the workings, back of the house workings for the facility. And as I mentioned earlier, number 3 is your stall barn. Number 2 is your covered warm-up area that leads you directly into the arena. And so I'll blow this up and we'll talk about those specifically. This is the stall barn. It is designed to host up to 200 10 by 10 stalls for animals. And in the corners, you see there are restrooms around on each corner, as well as wash stalls. We will have plumbing on each one of those columns, so you'll be able to wash down the animals. We'll have adequate power for the blow dryers that they use when they're in there showing the animals. We'll have trench drains along the edges. These are details that you don't really see in a presentation like this, but those are all important when you're hosting events. And so we'll have it outfitted for that type of thing. And again, the animal comes out of a stall through the warm-up area at number 7 there, and on into the arena. This is just a blow-up of those storage facilities. What you see in the storage area, we have outlined sizes of pallets for different types of flooring and elements that could be used possibly in the Rural Civic Center for different functions. And so going on to the next slide. I know this is a lot of detail and it's kind of small to see in this setting, but I'm just going to kind of walk you through the building a little bit if I can. So the front door of the facility is in the bottom right corner of the facility, and you'll see that in the renderings. And you come in and you have a concourse around more than 75% of the seating bowl. This is the seating bowl, and I don't see my pointer here. Maybe I can't see the pointer. Well, anyway, we have a seating bowl. And what we're really doing is making use of that seating bowl. We'll have a section and we'll look at that in a moment. But we have functions under the bowl. So what the functions you see in that circular formation are under the seating. The seating's on top of that. We have a large concession stand both on the upper quadrant and, oh, here it is. That's a large concession stand restroom element here, a large concession stand restroom element there for spectators. You walk in this door. The critical element about this concourse I want to point out, it's 20 feet wide, and what that allows you to do is have 10 by 10 booths around the perimeter. If you have some kind of event and you want vendor booths or something, that there's plenty of room to do that and still move people around. Another element that you is a perk from the approach that you took with getting this bowl in the round is that under this end of the bowl, you'll remember in the master plan, this right-hand side is planned, this corner is planned to be an expo hall in the future. But before you get that expo hall built, we wanted to give you the opportunity. This floor, this arena floor, can easily be an expo hall floor, but you not like to have some breakout spaces from that. And so this end of the bowl underneath there, we designed in such a manner that it can be breakout spaces, conferencing type spaces. You could seat up over 200 people in that area at round tables for an event. You could seat, if you had 3 separate rooms, you could get 100 people per room. If you had a small presentation and you wanted to do a different presentation in each room, we have movable walls between those rooms. So we think that that's going to give you a lot of flexibility and leaseability, rentability for functions before the expo hall is built. And as Ian described, they've developed what would be just the fire lane. We've developed it just a little bit further, so it just to step out from that conferencing end and make good utilization of that. As you move around on this end of the facility, you have your general manager's office, just your operations office under here. We have some back-of-house dressing rooms in case you have sporting events, storage, different maintenance offices under here. This area is a really large throat, if you will, that leads to the warm-up area. So that's going to be your back-of-house entry for animals, for performers into the stage floor. In the upper left corner, you see, I believe that's a number 6 right here. You have a large catering kitchen, commissary kitchen actually, that would allow you to serve food from there for both the conferencing rooms that we have currently, as well as help serve the expo hall in the future. And we've given it some room to have demonstration. If you have your ag extension or others that want to have culinary demonstrations, that can happen in that kitchen as well. The space is allocated for it. We haven't gotten into the depth of design detail in that kitchen yet, but the space is there for it. And the rest of these spaces in the upper left corner are basically storage spaces and service spaces, mechanical, electrical spaces for the building. In this front concourse, on the bottom left corner, you see a set of stairway there, and that is to lead up to a mezzanine level. I'll show you here in a second. Remember, there's another use too for this conference center I forgot to mention, and I'm going to describe it a little better when we go to the next level. So now we're cutting and we're looking at the seating bowl, if you will. And we've done some elements in this we hope you like. Of course, the large center floor is still visible here in this image. I mentioned the staircase in the lower left corner. That goes up to a mezzanine level. Here we go. Mezzanine level here. We have some images of how that would work. That could be used as a VIP area. You could have pre-event functions up there if you like. It could be rented to a group or something if they wanted to have a large event. While you're having an event on the floor, then they could have this kind of special seating for that. One thing that we've done a little different from the master plan phase is develop on the ends of the bowls. Those are terraced, not so much, row after row of blow molded seats like you see in an arena. Those are terraced, and they actually have movable furniture on them and kind of a bar rail at the front of those. Just a personal aside, we've recently completed a minor league stadium in Knoxville, and those areas, that's how they did large swaths of the seating there. And we had our office party. They've become hugely popular for groups to have when you're having events that you can go take your office or your church group or whatever and have your own seating area. You can socialize a little bit while you're, kind of move around there and socialize a little bit while you're attending an event, a sporting type event. So those are really popular, and it may give you a different level of ticket sale too, that can sometimes be popular. So we did that on this left side. They can access this top mezzanine. And so we thought about that on the right side too, is I'll show some seating diagrams here in a minute for the arena floor for concerts. Your concert's going to want to be set up on this end. So we thought, well, all the good seats will be behind the curtain at the concert. That's not great. So we really want to make sure that you have that available for all types of events. So on the right-hand side, we also have that seating tier, but they have an opportunity to privately go in and access the conferencing center below for that private dining or concessions or anything like that. So that's another type of seating, another type of event opportunity to be able to utilize. And then the sides are the typical seating arrangement with blow mold seats, cup holders, that type of thing that you sit in most all arenas. So we've got a little variety in the way that the space has been designed. One thing I wanted to mention too, we have the 4 large vomitories coming in, and you think, well, that's a lot of width there. And the reason that is for agricultural events, rodeo, different events, you want that arena floor a little bit lower for the view angles. And so when you come in those vomitories, the middle portion will be ramping down to the floor off the concourse, and the 2 sides will be ramping up to that first tier level around, walkway around. We usually keep the floor about 42 inches below the top walkway around it, and that keeps the viewing angles right and keeps you above the animal level. So here are the seating diagrams we wanted to highlight for you. So this is imagining center stage in the very middle. Some performers really like to have that set up in that way. In that scenario, your bowl seating capacity is about 3,200. Your floor seating capacity is right at 4,000. You've got over 7,000, almost 7,200 seats in the facility for an event like this. This is what I was describing a moment ago. Here you've got an end stage. This could be for, a performer, a comedian. It could be a graduation, to have a large space for a graduation. And you're going to want that stage on the left-hand side so the service can come in from the back. And so in this scenario, the seats here, the terraced seats here, now have that kind of elevated experience there. So in this scenario, you're close to 6,500, just over 6,400 total seating capacity because you've blacked out that orange area because it's behind the stage. This slide helps understand. This is a section through the length of the building up here on the top. That is this little area up here is that VIP conference center. And you can see how that works. Those terraces can come and enter that space and have exclusive access to maybe a higher level of catering or something, or concessions in that area during an event. And just to give you an idea of the look and feel of what it'll feel like to be in the space, again, as Ian mentioned, coming in on a plaza, when you've gathered 7,000 people, you need a nice place for them to come and go as they and spill out. And I think they've done an excellent job of bringing the landscape in and making that a comfortable space, but providing the access that, emergency vehicles, fire lanes, ADA access provide. This building, we try to design these buildings for what they look like and feel like and work like in the day. And we know there's much utilization of these as a wonderful facility for evening and nighttime. So we try to show that in all times of the day. Again, in the daytime on that plaza, in the evening. This is approaching from the lawn, the frontal approach. You parked your car, you're walking directly up to the facility. The facility is, I don't know if you recall Charlie Smith that started the project with us. And he said, it's, we're decorating a big box here. This is a big pre-engineered metal building. And what we do to it and how we handle that architecturally is so important. This is more than a big metal building, and we need to elevate it to the importance as your rural civic center. And so we carefully select those materials, the materials of the front entry. It's got an elevated front entry, and he would say you're decorating a box, and so we've really tried to do that to make it feel like a special facility. A lot of glass, a lot of vertical glass at the entry. You know where the front door is when you walk up to this building. Once you've come inside the front door, what do you see? You see the bowl there that you're going to go into, but we really celebrate these vomitories. They serve two purposes. Because we have this seating bowl kind of sheltered under this large metal building facility, we've got to get some exhaust out somewhere. So we use these vomitories. They help in wayfinding, but they also serve mechanically to get our exhaust and ventilation out. You've walked in this front door. One thing that's very apparent to you under the bowl there, you see all the glass here. That's your conferencing center underneath the bowl. And this is what it looks like going down either the front or the back concourse with your concessions and your restrooms there on the left. On the front of the building, there's a lot of glass. They have a great view to see what's outside, what kind of festival is happening on the lawn or fairground or however that's being used at the time. This is an image of the conference center I mentioned under the bowl. Again, you can see up to 200 for an event there at round tables like are illustrated here, but it could also be set up in a presentation mode like we have here in the room right now, or seminar tables for training, a multitude of uses that you can use for that room. This is on the far left side of the front concourse. That is the monumental stair that leads up to the VIP mezzanine. So we have kind of highlight that with some special lighting. And one thing I haven't pointed out, you see that in this image a little bit, you can make it out. We have large wall spaces in this building, and what we like to do is work with you and whoever you might designate for the county to help us with some theming for this facility and really pointing out the unique history of Horry County and the special elements of Horry County. And we've just put some type of image on the wall, but we think that the building itself can be a story about agriculture, about the people, about the history of your area, and we would like to incorporate that into the architecture as much as possible when we're designing these. So that's just giving you an idea. We're up on the mezzanine there. It has its own concession bar area. And how we can use some of these large wall expanses to tell the story of Horry County. And lastly, I think my forward button is not working too well. I've got a few more slides. I don't know. There we go. Thank you. Just to give you an idea how the arena space can be used, here you see it in expo mode. Maybe you're having outdoorsman type convention or expo hall, so it can easily be used as that. Expo hall floor, and could you advance the slide? Next one. This is giving you an idea how the space is used in concert mode. And then the last slide, here we are having the rodeo, the stalling, the footing mix has been brought into the facility, and you can see just a multitude of uses for the facility. And with that, I think the next slide, we wanted to just highlight where we are with the cost estimate. So everything you've seen that we've presented, we have drawn in that 100-page document that Brandon referred to, and thank you. We have developed the schematic design budget or estimate for that. It's broken down into several large chunks for kind of ease of digestion today. We have total site construction right now hovering right at $14,500,000. The arena itself is roughly $80 million. The stall barn is just under $4 million for the stall barn, and then the storage building right around $2 million. And I'm obviously rounding, and you have this information in your packet. So what we tried to do was, those are in today's construction dollars, not knowing and just kind of hedging on when this element is built. We did just go ahead and factor a couple of years of inflation in there because we know that's a reality that we live with. And we added a soft cost budget too. There's one thing to have a building come in and have a bid for your construction manager or contractor of a certain amount, but you all know better than anyone, a project costs a lot more than just the dollars of the construction contract. So we've envisioned you do have fees associated with that, stalling equipment for a facility like this, footing mix, furniture, equipment, surveys, geotechnical surveys, permitting fees, reimbursed printing costs, all those elements that go into the project. We've tried to factor those in and give you the best idea possible when you walk away from this, how much is the project cost. That is, at this time, just over $100 million, $116 million at this time. And next, I'm going to turn it over to Charlie, who helps us understand the financial impact of a project such as this. Let me see if I can get that to...
Perfect.
There you go.
All right, good. I want to remind people where we are in the process. Last time we were here, we didn't have all those blue dots. We just had specific elements to it. This cost estimate at 15%, now we know those spaces. And where we go next to design development is we're going to have kitchen equipment in there. So each one of these types of things gets tighter and tighter and more detailed. My job is to make sure that the role and the principles stay. So this is completely different from beachside. This is rural. All right, we want to make sure that messaging stays here. We also want to link rural with beachside. So every time a convention comes, we want to have one of those nights to be country night. You know, and they'll come out here and have a banquet and things of that nature. So, and we're also starting up. So I wanted to remind everybody that, you know, right this week, last weekend, you had the Carolina Country Music Festival. You could do a bluegrass festival. You had 33,000 people go there. So we only are showing 115,000 people. So we really aren't showing a lot of the events you have, and we're illustrating that you're entering the market. So I characterize these as being conservative. As we get deeper and deeper, we're going to have conversations with, the marketing people in the community in the region to really help tighten down those types of things. So I would anticipate that the demand will go up and the attendance will go up, and the financial capacity, once we know these types of things, will also be more known and more and tighter. On this slide, it really tells us there are a few things that we want to do. We're still at the same level as the design team. We know where the blue dots are now, but we now need to answer the question, are we going to have a fair? Are we going to do festivals? Who's going to promote those? Who's going to take the risk on those? So that's what we'll be doing during the next period of time as the design goes through. So there will be real clarity on what the level of demand is and what the financials will be, but they're all tightening down just like everything else. The other part of this is the creativity side that now starts to happen. I'm setting the stage up for Mr. Spivey to talk about the financials, but we have a whole host of things that still haven't been done right yet. All right, and they're gonna parallel the financial and the design. We're gonna get a management team, and they're gonna start thinking about the specific events that we'll be able to do by day. And then we're also going to be working very hard on putting together the detail and the operational budget. We don't know if this is going to be operated by the county, if you're going to put another department to it, or if you're going to create its own organizational entity and we hire a management firm. So we're going to be thinking about those things concurrently with the design. And so we're also updating these numbers. These are living numbers. This still tells us that this brings every year a minimum $25 million of economic activity, and at a minimum creates about 400 jobs. So we're going to keep these numbers going, and these have all become important as we look at the cost, the revenue capability, and the funding capacity. And these are all starting to tighten down. That's where we are at this point in time. With that, we'll be pleased to answer any questions, or I'll be pleased to turn it over to you again, to Barry.
Brandon or Barry, or questions from the committee?
Just a
I
couple.
got question, comment.
Yeah, I just got a couple of questions, Mark. On this cost estimate of $116 million, does that include, and I think you said that did not include an equipped kitchen, correct? I think
It
that
does
covered-
include-
It does include
Allowances
an
for all
equipped,
It has
all the
allowances.
landscaping in the plaza, as y'all were showing pictures of that. I mean, that's basically, I know the number's not fixed, but a turnkey number is
Yes.
where y'all at. Right?
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Barry, you wanna come up and say?
Barry will set you straight.
He always does, doesn't he?
Yeah.
This is very small that you see on the screen, and includes a lot of information. If you can blow that up a little bit, we can talk through elements of that. There's been a lot of work to bring us to this point in time. A lot of effort. Special thank you to all our consulting team in that respect to take the concepts and the ideas that we had and to put them on paper and to see that they can work. But I think from this point in time forward, there's equal or more work that will be necessary to refine this, to, I guess, decide exactly what we're building in that regard, and to fit it within our budget, as well as prepare the success of that from a financial standpoint. All those variables have to be considered. Our council and with our partners, and I use the term partners because Horry Electric has stood with us in this project from a community standpoint and has committed in the past a large amount of their Rural Development Act funds, and as we understand it, a commitment for an extended period of time to commit it to this project. With that, we currently have in place, if you look at this sheet before you, on the far left-hand column, that's the funding that is in place today. Roughly, we have, excuse me, committed $41,374,000 to this project from a variety of sources, including the Rural Development Act funds that have been supplied through Horry Electric, the ARPA proceeds. We actually sold property on Highway 9 that was committed to this project, a little bit of community benefit funds, and actually that came from several years back. That was not a recent thing. We committed hospitality cash from our hospitality funds, and we've structured 2 fee in lieu of tax programs that benefit this project. One is a solar farm that we have on Highway 701, but it is also 26 parcels that surround this actual site. Because as we make this investment, there's going to be a lot of associated investment that goes along with that. And we expect that that's going to produce a certain level of income that can be used to support operations as well as potential capital infusion on the front end from a portion of the capital cost in that regard. To date, we've only spent roughly $5 million, and the majority of that has been on the land purchase at 4.6 roughly. For the 500 acres, I believe yes, sir. What this council has approved in its 2027 budget is on the right-hand side where it says the projected funding of an additional $69.7 million was included in their 2027 budget, which includes cash as well as additional current year revenues from the RDA funds as well as certain elements of debt. And we challenged ourselves in that number for a $5 million grant that we would have to secure potentially from the state or other sources. And there's some revenue that will still come in before we're actually at a point of opening. So it's projected another stage of this that we'll be collecting revenues and utilizing those into the construction and operation. So right now, our projection is $110 million for the actual center itself, in addition to the roughly $4.7 million that was committed to the land up front, for a total project cost roughly of $115 million, and as was shared earlier, their current estimate's slightly higher than that. So, but we're getting in the ballpark. So we still have some challenges to do in that regard to see how we can refine the cost, how we can address other potential revenue sources. We have not addressed things like naming rights, which could be in capital infusions coming into the front end of this operation as well. The same thing is true on the operational side. I think what's currently forecasted in the report that you see shows almost a break even, but not quite. And in that regard, it's important that there is some cash flow that comes out of this facility. Because as you can imagine, there's going to be some very high wear areas that will need some life cycle maintenance on a periodic basis. And just from my personal experience, anytime you're dealing with sound and lighting and all those type things and restaurant type facilities, they require a consistent reinvestment. So we would be looking for this facility to generate sufficient cash to be able to stand on its own in that regard. That would be our goal in that respect.
That's the principle that we're working under.
Yes.
Questions, comments?
I do, one please. I know vacant land, maybe not, but what do you estimate the revenue like on the solar farm would be getting continuous on that coming in?
The revenue currently is paying on the solar farm is $231,000, I think, annually. But from the fee in lieu for the 26 parcels around that, potentially that could be in excess of $1 million a year once it's built out. It has to build out to generate that.
Anyone else? Last time, this time.
I think if we look at it as an investment in quality of life, I think it's wonderful and I think it's a good investment. But I just don't see it as that. The next time we have a big hurricane and we can assimilate our power structure, infrastructure out there, ready to go to work the next day. I think back on, if y'all know if y'all seen recently any of the memories of Hurricane Hugo. the day after. And I see this as an investment in the day after. It's not just for a dog and pony show, but it's also, we're gonna get a big one. We're due for a big one. And if we're ready, Sam Hodge is ready on the paper side, but if we're ready on the more so on the physicality side, we got trucks on the ground, we got boots on the ground to help go to work. This is just wonderful for the community, not just from culture and quality of life, but quality of the life on the day after. So it's not just a fluffy civic center, it's also an investment in infrastructure, in getting life back together once we have a nasty situation. It's coming. I'm not sure when.
If, or when, not
It's
if.
when. I'm gonna go with when. So I like the numbers and the colors. The only criticism I had on the beautiful slideshow was, this is Horry County and there's more ball caps than there are cowboy hats, but the cowboy hats are sharp.
Yeah.
I like
I hear you.
I like the dark ceilings too. Instead, have you ever been to a big arena or something that's all white? And after about the third or fourth show, it's kind of dirty brown spider webs, and the brown ceiling will help hide some of that.
Yes, sir, Bill?
Barry. Thank you, David. Barry,
Yes, sir.
let's just pretend this is being built, comes in, and there's overruns, there's costs that we didn't think about, and, you know, just getting open, there's a big cost of opening costs, advertising, marketing. It's gonna be a flop for 2, 3 to 5 years, and then after that starts, where's that money come from? Can we plan on that? Can we say another 50 million, 100 million? And so it's looking at 214 million in a 5-year startup with building it, opening it, marketing it, and you're at 5 years. You know, everything has to come out of your pocket, not it doesn't come out of the air. So where's that money come from? If that's what it took.
You know, through the development process, there are certain iterations where we have decision points. You know, this is one of those decision points today. But there will be more as we proceed forward, and we will be at the point that we can have a firm cost, so you know what it's going to take to build that center.
That's just the
The center itself.
and
We have attempted to structure, and let me just back up one thing. I guess with any large project, there is the opportunity for, when you get in the middle of that construction, that something unexpected does occur. And if you may have noticed the numbers here, but they are attempting to build contingencies into each of those numbers to allow for those unknowns or variations that may need to occur, as well as project forward an inflated cost from what you're seeing for the normal market conditions that are changing. So the anticipation is that we're attempting to give sufficient money in the decision that council would make to allow this to go forward at that in the scope that you've seen and would approve. The elements that we have in supporting this with the fee in lieu of tax is revenue that can be spent on operations. The monies that we're getting from like Horry Electric is very specific in how it can be used. It has to be used for capital or debt service, those type things. But what we've created with these fee in lieu of tax is a more flexible revenue. You may notice as well that in the projections, there are additional hospitality fees that would come off this facility. You know, we could set the increased amount off to support if needed in that interim period of time. So we do have some flexibility and some options to consider in that regard. But we will have a decision point or multiple decision points before we actually start breaking ground.
well, you talked in some good circles there, and I'm back to the point where
Well, our goal is not to use any tax revenue in this facility. I mean, it's coming from hospitality, it's coming from all those revenues that the tourism industry is providing to us for these type projects.
well, once it's built, the money's been committed. From that point forward, it's going to cost more than it costs to build the facility to make it into success.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And so that's where the fee in lieu of taxes comes into play.
Yes.
We want to see a dedicated revenue stream for operations. So we will manage to the operating level. We have pre-opening expenses. We've already budgeted for those in our projections. And then we have technical services consultant, that's kind of design, then it's operating. Then it's a machine. We want to have dedicated funds that allow some capital improvements, maintenance, and things of that nature. So we'll build up a trust fund over time to allow for that.
Yes, and a question was asked earlier that we hadn't addressed yet, but I just wanted to go ahead and address that. But you asked, was this going to be operated by our Parks and Rec Department or David Gilreath? The answer is no. We're going to bring in professional, experienced management to manage this facility, to book this facility, do those. I mean, we want somebody that's booking acts all around the country to be booking one here at the same time.
Back to my question. You're saying we're not going to use any public money, we're going to have recurring money coming in or somewhere, somehow.
No property tax funding, that's the goal.
And, I don't think there's anyone at this table that has built a $20, $30 million project and seen how it just eats you alive. Even Myrtle Beach did it, convention center, hotel, it ate them alive. They couldn't, it almost killed them because of after they built it, not the construction.
Yes, sir.
And I just want something there to show everyone, we're prepared for that.
Yes, sir.
And if you can do that, then we're good to go.
Yes, sir. So having that fee in lieu of tax as well as that potential growth in hospitality, which would support this type facility.
You can put a number on all those things for the future?
Yes, sir, we can.
Ballpark?
Yes, sir. And we do have, as a part of the state aid tax coming to us, the 30% that's required to be used for advertising that we currently contract with the chamber for. We've already had those conversations of some of those funding being used towards this facility in terms of marketing and some of the money that they have on reserve today, helping with the branding and other things up front.
You've thought this thing through, haven't you?
Well, we tried to look at all the variables, but I can't say we've got everything covered by any means, no, sir.
Proud of you. Let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
Other questions, comments?
I don't know. The plaza area, I don't know if you can answer this or not. I was just thinking back to the music festival when y'all mentioned that, and I know we won't be that big because of multiple stages or whatever, but do you know how many people could fit in that plaza area for an outdoor concert? Would it be more than in the arena? Could you have a larger event out there?
Absolutely. I'm sorry, we have not, I don't know, have you all calculated the number of people?
Not down to the person.
We need about 20,000 in that.
I mean, in the midway, certainly.
In the midway area,
Yeah,
yes,
midway.
absolutely.
No, we see food.
It could be 20,000 in there.
I think easily, yeah, if we could get 7,000 in that area, yes.
Mark's gonna be the promoter of a concert.
How many square feet of grass do you have?
It is 12.8 acres.
And would that be divided by 7.5 because of seating?
So this
Would that be
This is standing.
standing? How many square feet do you have for standing?
7.
7? Okay, so 14 acres, 12 acres? 12 acres
Yeah.
divided by 7 square feet?
The engineer's working on it right now.
Cool. I thought it was a calculator pop up.
At a concert, they're much closer than that.
We're working on a festival's ground in Utah. And they anticipate, 100,000 people sometimes, but they're over 2 days. So some of them will go for both days, some of them will go for day 1, day 2. So, but I think the capacity on that land is almost infinite, depending on how you lay it out.
If you only did 10 acres,
10 acres.
10 square feet per person, is that the number?
7.
7. I did 10. That's 43,000 people.
43,000 people.
You can get some big bands in there.
Food festivals, barbecue festivals.
I really like and appreciate the multitude of spaces. It wasn't just a big metal building that the community space to be able to bring a group together, somewhere to sit down and with your grandchild or your child and have a sandwich or rest because you've just walked 4.5 miles across the parking lot.
So what I'm really excited about is the evolution of your FFA and your 4-H. That's going to be resident on this campus, and those kids will really grow up with some skills that they wouldn't get normally.
Yeah.
So like Mikey said, if you're using a 7-foot base, that's more than coverage space. So you can get away with just
It's a concert. People wear like
43,000 masks.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Comment?
I got one.
Yeah, Ben, go ahead.
We just went into hurricane season. We just went into hurricane season and you spoke about a catastrophic hurricane. If we had a Katrina or
Another Hugo.
Hugo or a Hazel or
Lena.
Andrew, as of right now, without this facility for a stand-down location for emergency personnel, where would they go today if, say, 100 trucks in the southeast came in to help us with our utilities, and where would they stand down today? I don't know. I have no idea. And I know you're talking about utilizing this with the National Guard.
Reed, could you answer that? Reed?
Yeah, we've got plans to do about 300 people on our letters property, which is not a drop in the bucket of what you would need, which is why we're so interested in this.
On your property?
Yes, sir.
Oh, 4 mile.
That's one reason we're so interested in this location. I know that there's talks about the Horry County Airport, but again, it's not compared. It would take, all those kind of things would take planning when the event occurred. The beauty of something like this is all that pre-planning would be in place, all the contracts would be in place. Someone said it earlier, day after, we would be ready to roll. So National Guard also being on site is huge. Y'all know how important they are in events like that. To be able to all be together would be a huge advantage for Horry County and for our members that live in Horry County.
And once it all goes down, to be able to get on 22 and get to 31 and go up and take care of Little River, or go down and take care of Garden City, to be able to get all the vehicles there, to get the power people there, to get National Guard there. It just, I was looking at a book a couple weeks ago, and it was about Hurricane Hugo, and I had forgotten what devastation we had. Go back and look at the pictures. It's coming back, and to me, I just think it's soon.
I have a small question. Y'all require 5,000 seats for your meetings?
Well, right now we're not having in-person meetings, but we probably have 211,000 come through there, but they won't all be there at one time. 5,000 would be probably good.
So are we looking at phase 1 to do seating in the floor area as well as the stadium in phase 1?
Absolutely. That's a very traditional setup.
Yeah, because they would require a big.
That's almost 7,000.
I also appreciate Bill asking those tough questions. Some people might think you were kind of hitting the project, but I don't think you were. I think you're trying to be realistic because you've spent a few dollars before building stuff and invested and had to hold on.
And every time I go broke too, so I'm trying to prevent it.
So I appreciate you sharing some wisdom and knowledge from experience. That's important.
Thank you. Don't do it, don't. Yeah. No, I think it's great.
John?
I asked Mr. Spivey, we were talking about a while ago that we're not ready for groundbreaking. I understand that, but if everything went perfect, when do you think, we're trying to put our budget together, we don't know how many shovels to buy. But we need to know about a possibility in the future of a groundbreaking. If you've heard that song, Time's a Ticking, it's getting close. For some of us, yeah. and the inflation and everything, but I never dreamed we could be this for as long as we are, and I really appreciate everybody doing this. But is there a possibility that you could give us an estimate of years or whatever that we might have a groundbreaking?
I'll have a discussion quickly here. I know from this point forward, we would authorize our consultants to move forward with the actual designs, the detailed designs. And then we would have to go through a permitting and then bidding process. So can you advise us and what that looks like?
We have. We've run a schedule for you, just in anticipation. Yes, sir. We've run a schedule, just anticipation of that question, so.
Yeah, we anticipate it's gonna take about a year for design and about a year and a half for design, and then to get it, you better finish up.
Okay, we were anticipating
She
bidding.
put the schedule together.
We were anticipating being ready to bid in April of '27. So a month plus for bidding and contracting, and then roughly 2 years. So we would envision that, I would say, spring or early summer of 2029, you'd be in the facility.
And we want to see if we can coordinate it with Hardwick. We think there's some great efficiencies to be gained in terms of infrastructure and road alignments and things like that. And that's about 3 years out. So ideally, we could have these two elements come together. I think there's some efficiencies to be gained. And
David, can you comment on that, so as far as the road system?
The intent is to begin the procurement of the design and permitting services for Hardwick Road expansion as part of the Ride 4 project. Basically immediately after if this committee recommends that we move forward, we will start that up. They will be built concurrently in concert with one another in as many ways as possible. We'll also have to, the reason we've waited to this point is we have to get some traffic numbers. We've got to get some traffic generation numbers. We've got to get some water and sewer load numbers that we need to go to Grand Strand to get their water and sewer accommodations installed as well. So all of this is going to be happening at the same time. So there would be a groundbreaking, I think, to simplify your question, basically next spring or summer for the groundbreaking. A ribbon cutting would be 3 years.
Get shovels ready though, Johnny.
We get them ready.
Yes, sir.
We also raising money to get the gators here for grand opening.
Yeah.
I didn't say that.
Yeah. George Strait might come if we call him.
The gators.
Yeah. I'm excited about it and stuff, and this is very, very good, news and stuff, because some of us were speaking prior to the meeting. This is something that started many, many years ago and was actually, I talked about planning it, and then it seemingly ran out of steam for several years. And about 5 or 6 years ago, some of us repoked the fire, Danny and I and stuff got to talking and stuff, and Johnny about it, and staff has really helped a lot. They've done a good job, Charlie, your team, Margaret and y'all, and we appreciate it. So we're excited about it, we're anxious about it, stuff, because we want to get it done. But two, Bill, the same thing that you said, we've got to be able to look at what we can do. An old saying is, you build it and they will come, and we've had some unofficial preliminary talks with some of the largest barrel race folks and stuff, a PBR and those, and they have indicated with a facility like this that they will project probably 2 big shows a year. So, that'll be huge.
12.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's easy. Got a base start.
Yes. And to find a team that can do this and does it all the time will help us a lot. So, because I don't know about it, I can go and find a hot dog stand, and that's it, and view the show and stuff, and I like that. But this is something that Horry County has never had, and it's one of the largest capital improvement projects, I think, instead that we've ever jumped on, probably outside of the ride. But it is something that, with all our growth, we're the fastest growing county in the state on the East Coast. And everybody's coming here. Houses are being built out. So we've got, about 59,000 single family homes permitted that hasn't even been started yet. So that about right there, Tommy? Closer?
And
Yes.
lots, that'd be Mr. Brown.
Yep. Stevie, we got a lot. But, and according to the studies and stuff from our staff, CCR, they haven't really seen a slowdown much. And this is going to continue. Mike, a bunch of your friends are going to continue to come this way. And if, no offense, brother.
That's a compliment.
Yeah. And most of them are coming this way because of the Southern culture. And this is a facility that will help to amplify that. You're talking about farm shows, and you're talking about country music, you're talking about, boat shows, you're talking about monster truck shows. Man, the kids will come from all over for this stuff. And this will be, Danny?
It's like, we're number 2 county in the state, population-wise. We're only behind Greenville now. And we got 20 million visitors that come every year. So, if it won't work here, it won't work here.
Exactly.
I have one other question, if you don't mind, to these folks. On the floor of the arena, is it going to be capable of changing the floor out? Now, this is a weird question, but I had a guy ask me about a month ago, and I said, I just ignored it, but it just came back to my mind. This guy's involved with the go-kart racing of the country, and they heard about this arena, and I said, no, it's for horses. They go, oh, no, we race on dirt. This is a dirt, kids race on dirt. And they travel all over the southeast.
It's perfect.
Yeah, well, okay, just want to make sure somebody could be using it, because you said the exhaust is there for monster trucks or horses or cows, the exhaust. And go-karts, running in that high fuel stuff, but that's good.
Yeah.
That's another.
It's going to be designed for all colors. We've been thinking about the ceiling height, point hanging loads, and those types of things. We've got the footing, and we got the dirt. It's going to be on the concrete floor. We'll be able to do exhibits. We'll be able to hang from the ceiling and do all that stuff. It's very flexible.
They bring that dirt in and sculpt it. Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of potential, but don't expect them to come just because you built it, unless you build a baseball field.
We can do that too, so we can have banana ball inside.
Banana ball.
Benji, so did you want to say something?
Yeah, 2 things. I spoke with a group the other day that had mentioned that they had seen some of this, like somebody came to one of our meetings or whatever, but they also mentioned like these higher end, like Barrett Jackson, car auctions and Meekum, I think that'll happen. There's something else that I know that we're fast growing too, the county, but you got to remember too, of all the growth that's east of Columbia and down the I-95 corridor that's going on, and which is going to increase to whatever we're doing here. It's going to be it's going to snowball over the next 10 years because of all of the industry and all in Florence County. And we've got he said 59,000 single-family home permits out.
Yeah,
Florence doesn't have that many, or the other surrounding counties, but they've got a lot, like tripled what they usually have. So, and that's not but an hour and a half from here, or an hour and 20 minutes from here. So they're gonna frequent it too. And, anyway.
And I-73, right?
Yeah, yeah, I guess, yeah. If we live to see it.
which will end up right there at 22 and stuff where this arena's going.
Al, I got
If
one.
we get
Yeah.
governor.
Mark?
Oh, yeah.
Benji, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but is there still any conversation from the state side with the agriculture stuff about participation, or?
Yes, and soon as, we get, I guess this committee would say, all right, let's move forward, like Mr. Gilreath spoke of. We'll have to go to our delegation, and they would, I don't want to call it put pressure on the ag committee in the House to get it into the budget for the ag department. And that's another thing, we need to identify a site and how many acres we're gonna need, and you need to figure out how many, we can look at the acreage at the one in Florence and the one in Greenville. The one in Greenville, we've had to upgrade it twice in the last like 20 years. And so we don't need to be caught in that situation where, okay, here's your 10 acres, but we really need 20 because of all the growth around. But yes, they are very.
That's for what you need acres for?
For State Farmers Market inside the.
Market, yeah.
Yeah, and it would be opened up just like any other State Farmers Market in
Yeah.
Florence, Greenville, whatever, during the week. So, and obviously we spoke about it one time before, it's gonna have to be so that the general public can access it without having to get caught up in the traffic and all of events.
Yeah, I think that's very doable.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Mr. Chairman, is that you'd like to comment?
No, I think it's a good meeting. I think it's a good point. I do appreciate these really good, hard questions. Thank you. Good job, Mr. Chairman.
Anyone else?
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Sure.
We would like from this committee a concurrence or a sentiment as to whether this is, the design that we have put forth in front of you today is acceptable to this committee, and that we, in a recommendation, whether we should move forward at this point or not.
How do we need to word that, Mr. Jordan? We need to put in form a resolution or make a motion in a second and vote on it, or? I put my third favorite attorney on the spot, so the other two's in the family.
So if it's the will of the committee to move forward, a motion with a second on what we're moving forward with, which would be the 100% plans, or the 90%.
Acceptance of the current schematic design and the recommendation to move forward with full design.
Yes, sir.
Mike first, we'll come back to you, Tom, and Danny.
Mr. Shelley and I picked up on something on the design. This might be something that can be easily added. You had the outdoor arena where you had the stalls, then you had the warm-up area, then into the arena, and it showed one outdoor arena.
The show ring?
Yeah, was that the show arena right there? Kind of, there was one. All right.
Yes.
And he and I saw that and having some experience with this. Is that going to be enough? And we thought that was not going to be enough. Is there the space there to add at least two more?
Yes, we absolutely can add to different show rings, and all you're really adding is allocating the
Area and the
land
fence
for
around,
it
yeah.
and
Very
the
expensive.
stalling around it. So that's very easy to do. So we could have space for 3 show rings if that's your preference, for sure.
You know, ultimately, we'll probably have a couple of hands out here, some outdoor. So all those things, that's the thing about it. We're only touching 20% of this thing. So we've got
We just didn't know exactly how it's set up. We didn't want to say, yeah, that's good, and then all of a sudden they were stuck.
Yeah.
So, okay. All right.
Change order already, Mr. Spivey.
Tom, you next?
Yeah.
Let Danny go first.
Danny?
I was just gonna make a motion that we go ahead and move forward with the design that we're looking at now.
Hold on, then let me add to your design. I think that the people that came and the meetings I've attended, I've made comments, and I think the council's been listened to, and I appreciate that. The only three things I have that I would want to add to this plan, or let's identify, maybe I missed it, I have a hard time with the lights and the glare, but let's identify a space to be able to put our regional farmers market, because I think this could help us make a living space. I don't want a lot out there that 7 people go to work every day and we have a big event every 60 days. I want a couple of hundred people, a couple thousand people going there every day. This can be a living space. We need living space. We don't need dead spaces. I think I made a request a couple times for someone to look into the possibility of talking to the landowners between this space and 22. I think we need to communicate with these people that we'll put a spur if you'll give us the land access to get to 22. And I'm not talking about an overpass. I'm just talking about to come out of the back door of this thing, go over to 22 and turn right. Even though I'm a builder, I'm not looking for people to build houses and move here. I'm looking for folks to come visit. We've got plenty of hotel rooms at the beach. Let's let the local people enjoy the culture and enjoy the opportunity. And let's have everybody else come in, enjoy, hop on 22, go over to Myrtle Beach, spend the night, eat dinner, and be careful getting home when they take 73 back to wherever they're going to. That's my idea. And then where the Ferris wheel was, on the far end of the outdoor arena area, I'd like for us to go ahead and plan for some restroom facilities. I don't think they would be open all the time, but if you put 10,000 people out there, that's a long hike to drag a 2-year-old to go potty up at the top of the big open area. But if we plan for it, and they're locked most of the time, but when we have a function for more than 4,000 people, then we could open them up. And that way the infrastructure where the engineers already know that we got to pick up a 4-inch line down there. So, but other than that, I think you've done a great job.
Call Elvis. Outdoor.
That costs too much.
No, as we move into the next design level, there's going to be all kinds of input just like that. And we want to keep capturing that so we can keep this alive. And we'll have a list of those topics and we'll keep managing to that.
And I appreciate that because once again, I feel like you've already done that with several things. And this is you didn't just copy and paste it from Texas with the hats. I think you have listened to us and listened to the input. And so I appreciate being heard.
It's great input.
Anyone else before we go to Danny for the motion? Danny?
I'll make a motion that we go ahead and approve for them to go ahead and move forward with the design we have now.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second on the table. Any further questions or comments? Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Mr. Gilbert, what do we got next or further?
That is all we have for you today. I think we've got, with your recommendation there, I think we've got everything we need to move forward at this point. We will come back again, obviously, with more refined plans at some point in the future. We don't know what that is at this moment, but we will bring forward. We will keep you informed with schedules as we flesh those out, and then upcoming milestones. You'll get another chance to see it again for sure.
Mr. Chairman, real quick, are y'all by any chance from the National Guard Armory?
Yes, sir.
Would you like one of these books to take back with you?
Sir.
Okay, we'll get it to you just in a few minutes.
We're gonna have a sit down and stuff for them here.
Oh, are you?
Yeah,
Okay,
yes, sir.
good. Good.
Anyone else? Our staff like John and Ray and David, Randy and Brandon and them, so y'all fixing to get your plates loaded a little more. So work a little harder, work a little longer and stuff, because we excited about this thing and stuff. We want to see some action and stuff, about like Johnny said, and stuff, he gonna get the shovels together, and so we just need to get a place out there cleared off, man, and a dump truck of dirt and put out there, man. We'll have us a groundbreaking or something here pretty soon. Anyone else? Anything further from the committee? We look for next meeting. Do you have any projection or thought?
We will get you a schedule as we sit down and kind of flesh out the remainder of this.
Okay.
And I don't know when, but probably
Sooner than later.
Yeah.
Always. Again, thank you all for coming. We look for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Appreciate all of it.